Well, I do not quite share that. Unfortunately, we are torn between resuming schools and having students in a high contact area, which is the school, and then having them home and losing classes. Because I do know that even the lessons going on, or virtually not every school has been able to hook up, and I quite understand what the agitation is about. But I think that safety is priority over just learning. And since learning is occurring at home, I do think that we can go on and manage the situation as long as we're able to put the schools together. And I do not even know how long that will take because some of the issues that will make schools not be able to cope with the population and the distancing, social distancing recommended, are actually things that are a bit beyond the control of educators.
A little bit to concerns about how prepared educationists feel students are. WITH started on Monday, and a lot of people are asking questions that do they feel that students are really prepared enough to have started the exam on Monday? Do you have the same worry?
Academically, I think that educators did their best to cover the scheme of work and syllabus recommended by the various examining bodies. Usually, that is completed before the third term. So I think basically it's about the closure for 4 months that left made them a bit too relaxed at home. And what they need now is some kind of prepping up and psyching them up because most of the concerns are actually psychological. They are afraid of contacting the virus when they get to school. They're not sure how things will be handled. And I don't think it's really about the academics and what they've had to go through in the past 4 months based on the news going everywhere. But I do think that educators did their best to prepare the children because they were meant to have taken the exams 2 weeks before the lockdown, if I remember the details very well. And that means they had done their part. Now the COVID-19 came and then they had to stay 4 months at home. And I think that if that time of not having real-time contact with teachers is what they're worried about, where there's usually a little wishing up and prepping them and giving them pep talks here and there.
Thank you, Nancy Epezo. It's nice to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
As much as we'd like to have you say more, we have to get on now with the news. The former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, has revealed how the late former American ambassador in Nigeria, Walter Carrington, leaked information of his pending arrest while the late head of state, General Sani Abacha, retired in 1995 to him. Obasanjo said he was offered political asylum in the United States of America during his trip to Copenhagen to attend the World Social Summit as Human Development Ambassador of the United Nations Development Program, but the former president stated that he turned down the asylum offer despite its tempting and assuring nature. The former president said this in a condolence letter to the wife of the late ambassador, Arraigned. Carrington. A copy was obtained from his special assistant on media, Kende Akinyemi, in Abeokuta earlier today. For Nigeria's education sector to develop as well as match the global standard, the federal government has been advised to declare a state of emergency in the sector by scrapping the current curriculum in place of its institutions. The African Regional President of Scholarship Aid Initiative, Dr. Adebayo Oluwatoyin, gave the advice while addressing newsmen on the state of education in the country in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He affirmed that the current curriculum in the country have become obsolete and not attractive to Nigerian youths as obtained in other climes. Hence, he requested that the diversion of internet scam, money-making rituals, kidnapping, among others, should be addressed in school curriculums henceforth.
The first advice I will give to the government was to first scratch all the curriculum, present curriculum in the country. We have department of what we call a curriculum development, and the curriculum is a course in under faculty of education. So if we have such in this country, we have to go and bring in the present thing, the current trend that can make education that will change education. Thank God you see what NUC did. Mass communication have been split into about what? 7 courses. Now, to have area of special.
Adebayo urged authorities in the country in charge of Nigeria's education to develop new curriculum that would make education attractive to Nigerian youths and insisted that Nigerian youths have lost interest in education. Some People Democratic Party leaders in Ondo South senatorial districts are displeased over the running mate picked by the governorship candidate of the party, Jegede. Jegede picked a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Boluga Ikemboju, as his running mate, rejecting the names submitted to him by party chieftains. One of the aspirants in a just concluded PDP primary, Godde Erewa, said that selection of a running mate by any candidate in a political party was a crucial component of the electioneering process. He argued that it would be instrumental in boosting or hampering the electoral victory of a political party, especially in an election that is bound to be fiercely contested. Erewa noted that running mates are expected to balance the candidate's personality, inexperience or lack of character, as well as provide geographical balance geared towards ensuring just and equitable representation of the candidate. Still in Ondo State, parties participating in Saturday's local government election in Ondo State today inspected sensitive materials at the office of the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission, ODEC. The sensitive materials inspected included ballot papers for chairmanship and councillorship elections, the statement of results at the polling units, the declaration of results, and a certificate of return for chairman and vice chairman as well as councillors. A total of 316 packs containing sensitive materials were inspected today, and the chairman of ODEC, Professor Yemi Dinaki, who addressed representatives of political parties while displaying the sensitive materials, said the materials would be taken to secured location after the briefing. Professor Dinaki urged the political parties to be vigilant and ensure that their agents are well represented during the distribution of the materials on Thursday this week. A 27-year-old man identified as Abdullahi Salisu, who allegedly assaulted a 100-year-old woman today, appeared in Ile-Ife, Osun State Magistrates Court. The prosecution counsel, Inspector Sunday Osoyintuyi, who told the court that the defendants committed the offense on August 16, 2020 at around 3:45 p.m. at Sabo, Ile-Ife, also alleged that the defendant and others who are now at large attacked Bintu Adamu and inflicted injuries on her forehead. The offense, he said, contravened the provisions of sections 355 and 516 of the Criminal Code and laws of Osun State 2020. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty to the 3-count charge of conspiracy, assault, and causing hurt. The Joint Health Sector Union of the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital has said that no fewer than 18 nurses and 7 supporting staff have tested positive for COVID-19 at the hospital. The union said UITH is yet to have an isolation center and added that management had converted one of the wards at the hospital to a center. UITH-JOHESU chairman Olatunde Olawumi made this known to reporters in Ilorin, the state capital, at the sidelines of a meeting with members. He said that the ward that has been converted to a COVID-19 isolation center should be properly adjusted. Moving on to business, financial experts today expressed concerns on the country's rising inflation rates, currently at 12.82%, and called for stabilization of the nation's exchange rate. The experts spoke with newsmen in Lagos while reacting to July inflation figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics. NBS had said that the figures rose to 12.82%, the highest ever recorded in the past 27 months. The latest increase represents 0.26%, point higher than the rate recorded in June, which was 12.56%. Professor Ayo Lowe of the Department of Finance in the University of Lagos said that rising inflation was cost-pushed by naira devaluation, which affected cost of production in the country. And a World Bank's budget support loan of $1.5 billion, which Nigeria is seeking, may not be approved before October this year. This is a huge blow to hopes of the country's small businesses that are struggling under the weight of a severe dollar shortage. Top security dealers in the country have urged the federal government to expand agriculture to create job opportunities for youths and leverage commodities exchange to grow the country's foreign exchange earnings in view of dwindling income from international oil markets. Meanwhile, Nigeria's exchange rate crisis is pushing many business owners towards Bitcoin as a preferred means of buying goods from manufacturers outside the country. And that's the size of our bulletin from Lagos. My name is Faith, and later I will head back to Ibadan now for more news stories on Newsroom.